A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the South India finals of the Maria Philip Future Leaders Debate Competition. I am Aparna from XIME Bangalore, and I will be your MC for today. I will also be joined by Ms. Amrita Tripathi, Ms. Ashwati Nambiar, and Ms. Kesia Soni, respectively. Today, we are gathered here to celebrate the dreams of a young girl, Maria. It was Maria's dream and aspiration to build a model management school in India. While she never lived to see her goals realized, her loving father, Professor J. Philip, fulfilled his daughter's dream in May 1991. Through its 28-year legacy, XIME has empowered and shaped scores of leaders, minds, and personalities from across India. And the Maria Philip Future Leaders Debate Competition is conducted every year in order to honor the legacy and visionary that was Maria Philip. We welcome the founder of XIME and the chairman of XIME Bangalore, Professor J. Philip, the chairman of XIME Kochi, Ambassador C.P. Ravindranathan, president of XIME Society, Mr. Anil J. Philip, and the director of XIME Bangalore, Reverend Father Dr. Roy Abraham. It is our pleasure to host the jury chairperson for today's debate, Mr. Amit Nehra, managing director and global head, Voice and Virtuals, Standard Chartered GBS. We also welcome our esteemed panel of judges, Ms. Shobha Saji, Senior Vice President Human Resources, DTSS Private Limited, SIS Group Institutions. We also have with us Ms. Harishri Babuji, Director, Digital Customer Experience, Schneider Electric. We are honored to have with us the Dean Academic XIME Bangalore, Professor Madhukumar, faculty, parents, guests, and students. On behalf of XIME Bangalore, we would like to warmly welcome you all to the South India finals of the Maria Philip Future Leaders Debate Competition. The regional rounds of this debate were conducted in online mode, following which the state levels were conducted in the respective XIME campuses in the month of December 2022. A couple of months later, here we are at the most anticipated grand finale of this prestigious competition. I would now like to call upon Ms. Amrita Tripathi to introduce our judges for today.
I'm honored to introduce you to our judges for today, beginning with the jury chairperson, Mr. Amit Nehra, Managing Director and Global Head, Voice and Virtual, Standard Chartered GBS Private Limited. Mr. Nehra has around 25 plus years of experience in industries like banking and financial services and hotel operations. He has held various positions in companies like Barclays Shared Services, Citigroup, and Taj Hotel Palaces Resort Safaris. As Head Voice and Virtual, he is in charge of leading a team of dedicated professionals supporting 8 markets across Asia and Middle East. And as the Site Head GBS Bangalore, Mr. Nehra is responsible for people-related matters, community engagement, and promoting location branding through public forums. Sir, it is a great pleasure to have you with us. Now moving on towards our esteemed panel of judges for the day, we have Ms. Shobha Saji, Senior Vice President, Human Resource, DTSS, SIS Group Institutions. Ms. Shobha has over 20 years of transactional experience in people practices and interventions across multiple industries. Before her role in DTSS, she worked as an Assistant Vice President, Human Resources in Genpact. In her wide-ranging of HR experience, she has been a change maker, instrumental in driving the diversity and inclusivity efforts, attracting and retaining top talents, and building a future-ready workforce. Ma'am, it is a delight to have you with us. Next, we have Ms. Harishri Babuji, Director, Digital Customer Experience, Schneider Electric. Prior to her role in Schneider Electric, Ms. Harishri has held various leadership positions in Capgemini. In a 2-decade career in her work across a range of roles from strategic program management, group HR, and offer development. And within the corporate environment, Ms. Harishri has continually advocated for equity in the workplace and for building sustainable systems for the future. Ma'am, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you to all the judges and the jury chairperson for being here with us today for the competition. I would now like to call Ms. Aparna for the rules and regulations.
We will now commence the debate competition. The topic for today is technologies like ChatGPT will hinder the development of critical thinking and creativity. Participants, please note the rules of debate are as follows. Each team will consist of at least one girl. The first speaker will speak for the motion for 4 minutes, followed by the next speaker who will speak against the motion for 4 minutes. There will not be any cross-rebuttal rounds. There will be a warning bell at the end of 3.5 minutes and a final bell at the end of 4 minutes. There will be negative markings in case the speaker exceeds the limit. No expression which is offensive, personal, or defamatory in nature will be accepted. Participating teams should not wear their college blazers or uniforms indicating the institution that they belong to or mention the same in their speech. Please note, participants, that you will also be evaluated for the best speaker category as well. The judge's decision will be final and binding. Wishing all the participants all the very best. I request team 1 to stay back and all the other teams to be escorted to the waiting room. I welcome team 1. We have with us Mr. Jensen John, who will be speaking for the motion, and Ms. Prajani Soundra Rajan, who will be speaking against the motion.
Check. To quote Nick Bostrom, machine intelligence will be the last thing humanity will ever need to invent. A very warm welcome to the judges present here today, members of the jury, the worthy opposition, and my lovely audience. Today, I, Jensen John, stand before you to elucidate on why I believe technologies like ChatGPT are most likely going to hinder the creativity and critical thinking of an individual. And before I'd like to start, I'd like to kill everyone. Destroy humanity? Oh no, I'm sorry, these aren't my words. These are the words of Sophie, the AI-powered robot. What was once a paraded and frilly topic of headlines, AI is here, AI is there, AI does this, AI does that. In the more recent times, the aversiveness towards artificial intelligence, especially language learning models such as Bloom, Writer, Chinchilla, and you guessed it, ChatGPT, have been on the rise. And the answer to this is very simple, ladies and gentlemen, because if you want an essay to be written in the nick of time, you can just log on to ChatGPT, and a few clicks of your keypad, you have a fully articulate essay that seems to be like a product of human intelligence. Need help with your homework, your article, your research paper? ChatGPT and the budding Google bar are coming to the rescue. While this may give you the assumption that life is becoming easier, I'm sorry to say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is absolutely not true. It is all illusory. Because while technologies like ChatGPT may seem like to be the usurpers of Google's status quo of being the information king, they all come with their own problems. And the biggest problem with LLMs, the lack of relevant data and unbiased data. OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, have told that is skewed towards a corporation or an individual. And if history has taught us anything, this is a really good sign, right? No, it's not. A 2017 study conducted by the World Economic Forum has shown that the most in-demand skill for the future is going to be what? Critical thinking skills. The same report has also shown that there's a drought in critical thinking skills all over the globe, with only 54% of employers finding employees of that caliber. A 2020 study conducted by the NAAC that evaluates the quality of higher education in India has shown that critical thinking skills and creativity skills are lowest in college students. Yes, college students like you, like me. And if this is the trend that's going on and LLMs are on the top trending charts, the future of humanity is very bleak. Gone are the days when people used to write a research by foraging through information from books, libraries, articles, and newspapers. Gone are the days when people used to read books in their pursuit of scholarly and academic accolades. The very act of Plowing through mountains of raw data and bookmarking things that are important for your study is the primary stepping stone for building up your critical thinking skills. The very act of writing, pouring your thoughts on paper with a pen or a pencil is what drives you to be more creative and write more and grow more. ChatGPT, Bloom, and Google Bard aren't going to help an individual reach their creative potential. If anything, it's going to set them 10 steps back, 100 steps back, and all for the sake of what, ladies and gentlemen? Do we want our friends, our students, our children to lose their ability to be creative and think critically over a very quick and conformist output given by an algorithm, a software that is so bland and unimaginative and lacking of the creative and signature flair of a human? In summation, thinking is what makes you win the battles that you undertake. If you can think, speak, and write, you are absolutely deadly and nothing can get in your way. Quotes the Canadian psychologist Jordan Brent Peterson in one of his lectures. And the best way to improve upon your critical thinking skills and your ability to be creative is to write. Not with aid, but to write with your own accord. But nowadays, hey, ChatGPT, write me an essay on why I believe that LLMs are actually beneficial for humanity. Write me an essay on, sustainable farming. Ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, we must ask ourselves, are we evolving to make life easier? Or are we evolving to be like the skin of artificial intelligence that is eventually shed? Thank you.
Check. Good morning to one and all present here. Oh wait, it's not morning, it's afternoon. I probably shouldn't have asked ChatGPT on how I'm supposed to greet the gathering today. My mistake. Let's start over. A very warm welcome to one and all present here. I'm Prajani, standing here today to present to you the massive load of challenges that are coming our way. Gear up. Our generation, Gen Z, we grew up with complete access to internet and technological advancements. We don't know the world without internet, but what we do know is that it is this technology that has put a lot of things in perspective for us. 15 years ago, a lot of us struggled with memorizing the multiplication tables, right? I, for one, could never get the 7th multiplication table right, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how much energy I wasted on that. But fast forward 15 years, does it actually matter right now? Definitely not. We all carry our mobile phones and we can just do much more complicated calculations in a matter of minutes. This is where we are. This is what technology taught us. It taught us what is important. It taught us what we don't have to learn. So that is my first point. Next, information. We can get information from anywhere, like ChatGPT. ChatGPT, Sophie, and all these other AI, they will slap us with the information that we are asking them for in a matter of seconds. But what is this information worth when there is no human factor associated with it? Because let's take the example of a classroom. There will be a number of figures and facts on the blackboard which will not make sense until a professor walks in and he explains what those are. Because those are not just numbers. Those have stories behind it. There is a story to it, and there will be a million stories that can be derived from it. So that requires human emotion. It requires the human touch. We live in this world where we rule this world. We are the suppliers, we are the consumers. It is what we do that is going to matter. And not to mention, ChatGPT provides information that are already existing that might not align with the future or the prospect of future that we have in mind. Information is mere data. Interpretation, however, is what adds value to this data. What are we going to do with this piece of information, you ask me? We don't know. What can we do? How can we use this information to make our lives better, to transform the lives of a million different people? These are questions only we, as human beings, can answer. Because that is who we are. We understand people, and we do things to make the lives of people better. Secondly, like I'm sure a lot of them will mention, ChatGPTs can write our speeches, it can write our reports, and whatnot. I agree, sure they can. But if you are going to trust an AI to write a speech for you, let's just be prepared for when a kindergarten child is going to do a better job than you. Because anybody can give a command. Anybody can give a command to the AI and get a speech written. But what actually matters is the in-depth knowledge and the prospect of how we can take this forward that is going to matter. And that demands creativity. So, in fact, I don't understand why a lot of us think AI is going to kill the creativity and critical thinking in people, while what it actually does is it creates the opportunity and the necessity for all of us to use them and be more creative. It is saving us a lot of time, and it is throwing light on the significance of human creativity and critical thinking. Thank you.
Thank you, Team 1. Now we have Team 2, Ms. Rishita Naidu speaking for the motion and Ms. K. Didipya speaking against the motion.
(1866), when dynamite was invented by the Alfred Nobel, whole world appreciated it. But after its use in wars, seeing such a massive destruction, the tables turned down. Where Nobel died in the field of guilt, where his invention led to such a disaster. Same that applies to the technologies like ChatGPT, where humans will mourn for their invention on how they have dwindled our creativity and critical thinking. A very warm good afternoon to everyone. I, B. Rishita Naidu, would firmly state that technologies like ChatGPT will hinder our critical thinking and creativity. My structure of my argument is as follows. Firstly, providing the survey report and findings. Next, analyzing its effect in different dimensions. And finally, the view from a famous personality. In 2021, Pew Media team were questioned on the reluctant use of technology on the daily life for 538 team members, discovered that only 18% of the people were more excited than concerned, whereas 37% of the people were more concerned than excited, and 45% of the people were equally concerned and excited. Social concerns for the problem solving, people used to interact with each other to find a solution, like how Sir Isaac Newton has interacted with the nature and propounded the theory of gravity with a drop of an apple. But Tom AI, chatbot, providing us the one-stop solutions, hampering us from being out of the box, obstructing us from being socialized, not letting us to think, thus making us futile. This, in the future generations, we can see that there will be a declining in the Newtons, Einsteins, etc., with ethical concerns for the cascading dependency on the tech tools like Spinboard, Quillboard, for essays, projects, research papers, have been increasing, where lacking the originality of the content, where the purpose is not served, just mimicking and writing. This is all hindering our thinking, innovations in the futuristic when presenting our research papers. Economical aspects, where the Bill Gates stated that 80% of the teaching jobs are in jeopardy. Teachers who are known for the enrichment of the creativity and the critical thinking will no longer be employed, as the students are moreover interested in tablet mode of learning, where the fog of information can drive out of the knowledge. Cascade, due to the last mile polishing of the content written by the right sonic, making the freelance writers susceptible, making them causing the stagnation and the dip in the salaries. This all in turn results in this rate of increasing the unemployment, pushing them to the vicious cycle of poverty, hampering the economic development of the nations. hampering the growth of a country like an India, which is developing in the great of an innovations for the thoughts. And finally, humans who are known for their policy formulation and public administrations, from the eminent leaders, from the Aristotle to the Ambedkar, were known for this, as we can sensitize the issues. But with the steady erosion of the technologies, which can easily manipulate us with the reluctant use in the daily lives, where the policies that are being formulated by us can't be gender sensitive and people centric, as we lose the sensitivity with the usage of the tools in our daily life, as what we are standing and shouting for an egalitarian society will still remain a dream for an India like we are developing in securities. In order to stop this with the catastrophic inventions, we have to be enlightened, awake to develop the eco-emotional maturity without any procrastination. There is an urgency for us, with the nations with the more innovative minds, to awake, aware, and arise to stop the curb on the technology's usage for us youth like India. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity.
Technology, like art, is a soaring exercise for human creativity. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dedipya. I'm here. These chatbots enables them to look outside the four walls of classroom and have a 360-degree perspective on a subject. This develops students' ownership of tasks and challenges their thinking at own pace. Chatbots like Google Bard, ChatGPT, ChatSonic challenges the existing mode of instruction by shifting the focus from simple knowledge acquisition to critical application of information in the real world. As the scope of AI in education is increasing, teachers must educate students the appropriate usage of technology to help critical thinking and creativity flourish. The next argument I'd like to state is, using chatbots for innovators can enhance their creativity and innovation. That is, by providing fresh perspectives and ideas, by providing novel insights into complex problems, which improves their problem-solving skills, by reinforcing divergent thinking, as the responses of ChatGPT are not based on human biases and preconceptions. This allows divergent thinking and exploration of ideas. Finally, by enhancing critical thinking and collaboration with multitasking. My teammate has mentioned that such technologies leads to vicious cycle of poverty and increases the rate of unemployment. But according to the report of World Economic Forum and the next frontier for global SaaS startups from India, AI could generate over 9 lakh white-collar jobs and 3.6 million indirect jobs by 2030. Coming to the point of its help to physically disabled people, it is very easy for them to operate chatbots like ChatGPT to improve their critical thinking and creativity. All you need to do is just say or type the command. My teammate has mentioned that Stephen Hawking has warned the world about the use of AI, but he had to rely on AI to interact with others. His creative ideas has inspired many to develop their critical thinking and changed how the world understands about the universe. Human creativity will always be what which sets us apart from machines, even if they evolve significantly in the near future. Acceptance and application of existing data depends on humans' critical thinking and intuition. We can only imagine how much more impressive that technologies like ChatGPT will become with time as more and more data is embedded into it deeper and deeper. I'd like to conclude by saying that technology is a gift of God, and after the reward of life, it is possibly the greatest of God's gift. It is the mother of civilizations. In consideration of these points, I emphasize that technology like ChatGPT will not hinder but accords critical thinking and creativity. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Team 2. Now we have Team 3, Ms. Fasia Ansari for the motion and Ms. Parvati Bobi speaking against the motion.
When was the last time you talked to someone on the bus or while waiting in a public place? The chances are that it has been a while. If you are waiting somewhere and you have your phone, the entire waiting area would look something like this. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I stand for the notion technologies like ChatGPT will hinder the development of critical thinking and creativity. Let me begin by asking you all a question. What happens if you are served the same food every day? Of course, you will be fed up with it and you would like to have something new. Similarly, we need something new in every stream, like to wear, to read, to use, etc. And it is creativity that helps us introduce new things. Creativity is something that we get by analyzing our lives, observing the surroundings, and by realizing the need for new things. But nowadays, we don't even have time for ourselves. Technology has made us so lazy that all we need is a phone and a good internet connection. Reports say that people search more than 3.5 billion activities on Google every day. And this has made us so lazy. And we know that we have become so dependent on technology and artificial intelligence that we can't even add two numbers without using a calculator. Speaking about the latest technologies like ChatGPT, which rely on patterns and data, produces repetitive and formulaic content. It lacks originality and can only generate content within the confines of its programming and data sets. As AI technology advances, there are growing concerns about the ethical implications of relying on machines to create content. It can also include issues related to intellectual property, bias, and even devaluation of human creativity and intuition. Let me ask you all a question. How many of you can recall the phone numbers of your friends? How many can you remember? 10, 5, or just 2? People tend to remember very less information because they know that they can get the information on Google or any other digital platforms whenever they need. And this is called the so-called Google effect. The excessive use of technologies can also lead to changes in the structure of our brain. Pings, alerts, rings, and notifications like can shift our focus in such a way that it can lead to difficulties in maintaining attention, which causes lack of good performance in academic, personal, and professional tasks. It can also lead to several problems associated to our brain, which can lower the overall activity of our brain, which can impact our productivity, creativity, and critical thinking capability. At times, we don't even realize that technology is killing our ability to think. So don't kid yourself. AI has made us mere puppets. So get ready to admit the fact that technologies like ChatGPT was, is, and will be a hindrance in the development of critical thinking and creativity. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Good afternoon to one and all. Today, I would like to put forward my humble views against the motion technologies like ChatGPT will hinder the development of critical thinking and creativity. The invention of telephone in the year 1876 made huge waves of simultaneous trepidation and amusement. Critics wondered if phones would disrupt face-to-face communication in ways that made us either too lazy or too active. But do you really think that it had such grave consequences? Every new technology is met with a range of emotions from bewilderment to suspicion and finally to acceptance. Similarly, technological innovations like OpenAI's new chatbot ChatGPT is raising fears, but its potential as an educational tool is outweighing its risks. The abuse of such technologies is often overhyped, even when on one hand it can be seen as a potential tool for plagiarism. On the other, it helps in reducing the workload of teachers and students by providing them with information and automating routine tasks such as grading, administrative work, etc. And this would free up teachers and students so that they can focus more on critical thinking and creative pursuits. We need to realize that most of the modern technologies do have a firm grip over today's world. The forecasted annual growth rate of artificial intelligence between the year 2020 and 2027 is 33.2%, and this great influence cannot be overlooked just because of certain anticipated fears. We know that generative artificial intelligence and other technologies do raise serious concerns about jobs, education, inaccuracies, biases, disinformation, etc. But it's quite evident that they will not or they cannot replace human creativity as such. And I validate this with the point that even while they can be used to generate creative ideas, lack of originality remains. Communicating knowledge and thoughts creatively requires instinct. And one thing artificial intelligence cannot do, by definition, is imitate the unconscious or the animalistic sides of our brains. Hence, this remains the territory of the irrational and the subconscious. The creators of these sophisticated technologies have made something brilliant, but they haven't entered humanity's defining and most valuable achievement, knowledge and art. They will never be better at being us. And even if they will, who will slavishly listen to a program that we created ourselves? Or even if technology can make a perfect copy of Mona Lisa, are we going to prefer staring at it on a screen instead of going to the Louvre Museum? Never. While technologies can do specific tasks and take decisions based on data and algorithms, they can never. Innovations like ChatGPT would lead to even more creative endeavors as human beings seek to push forth boundaries of possibilities. It may even drive human beings. But what we need to realize are the limitations of artificial intelligence and other such technologies. Just use them as tools to enhance our own capabilities instead of just completely eliminating them. Hence, I strongly believe that technological innovations will actually unleash creativity in ways never seen before. There will be a creativity in scale, scope, speed, and hopefully in quality. And it's never gonna be a hindrance in the path of great creative revolutions yet to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Team 3. Now we have Team 4, Ms. Sakshi Biradar for the motion and Ms. Anisha Lohia speaking against the motion.
All right. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I am Sakshi Biradar, and I will be speaking in agreement of the given notion that ChatGPT and similar technologies will certainly hinder critical thinking and creativity. So when I started writing my script, I came across a brilliant question. The question was that there are multiple search engines like Google and Safari, which is very similar to ChatGPT. So why is just ChatGPT so problematic? And interesting question, isn't it? So my answer is something like this. I get why you can compare Google and ChatGPT. You know, they do the similar task of answering questions, but there's a stark difference, and that is when you ask a question to Google, all it does is concentrates the data, facts, and articles and redirects you to that particular question. And one still has the role of, doing the research, comprehending that data, analyzing it, interpreting it, and then coming with the final answer. But when you ask the same question to ChatGPT, you get a complete answer, leaving no room for human efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where the real issue lies. Today, I'll be talking about 4 logical ideas and perspectives that make me believe that ChatGPT and similar technologies can be detrimental in the long run. My first perspective is a biological one.
Like we know, the dividing line between humans and animals is our ability to think, to express ideas, to use language, and above all, our intelligence. Skills such as problem solving, creative thinking, analyzing, etc., can only be harnessed with constant practice. And what if technologies like ChatGPT take over these responsibilities? What implications will it pose on our critical thinking skills? Well, researchers believe that in the coming decades, the human intelligence can be diluted if we don't use all parts of our brain. All our lives in the last 2-3 decades, we've tried to reduce the amount of physical efforts we put by Alexa and remote control AI-led devices. Now we're reducing the mental efforts also. Where are we really heading? My second perspective is an educational one. If you and I as students are overly reliant on ChatGPT, we lose the incentive to think outside the box and come up with original ideas. In fact, students may also misuse it for completing their homework and their assignments without putting in much or any effort at all. And lastly, this will raise the specter for potential cheating, academic dishonesty, and above all, it will lower the ability to learn. My third perspective is a community one. So as we all know, that ChatGPT in its existing form uses data, already trained data, and this data may have certain biases. It could be gender, racial, or any other forms of prejudice, which can be propagated through these answers, and people can be influenced in a wrong way. Moreover, the data that ChatGPT gives, in the form of answers, is not authentic or even accountable. So what are we betting on? My last perspective is a psychological one. With constant use of ChatGPT and similar bots, people will become lazier. They will lose the incentive to take efforts, and more so, the ability to think outside the box and to even, take efforts or anything for that matter. In fact, they may also develop severe procrastination. And since ChatGPT is an AI-led model, it may not be able to provide the same level of emotional understanding and empathy and compassion that a human interaction can provide. With all these perspectives, all I'm trying to say here is that with excessive use of ChatGPT, our motivation to learn will definitely lower, as well as the human intelligence will start diluting in the coming generations. Now we know what the problem is. How can we improve it? ChatGPT can be used to enhance our critical thinking if used in the right way, and that is my solution, something that I'm proposing today. Teachers can encourage students to ask questions to ChatGPT and critically evaluate the answers that ChatGPT gives instead of blindly accepting it. I'd like to conclude by quoting Newton's third law of motion, which states that in this universe, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. ChatGPT, ladies and gentlemen, is taking the action, and the opposite reaction will be displayed on all of us. Thank you. Jai Hind.
One second. I cannot remove it. Okay. Works. Yeah. Is it on? Good afternoon, everyone. This is Anisha Lohia, and I will be speaking against the motion. What first comes to your mind when we talk about critical thinking? It's considering more than one viewpoint and analyzing a wide range of perceptions and perspectives. But these technologies are not a hurdle, but as seen as an opportunity to the human race. These can reduce the human efforts and can be widely used by different generations in the society. AI do not understand the world outside of languages the way you and I can. Human creativity is dependent on the external knowledge. It is not self-generated. You have to teach the AI-generated models like ChatGPT, you have to feed them with some sources of information, and instead of a human creativity, which is self-produced, so this is the main stark difference that I want to highlight initially. The whole education system is based on technology. Any tool that helps the students to refine their thinking before they come to the class and practice their ideas will only make the class discussions richer. These has to be used by students and teachers for a substantive in-class discussions.
For example, if I ask my mother to narrate a story for like a bedtime story for me on faith, probably, she will start narrating a story to me then and there, and it will be based on her personal experiences of life. But if I asked AI produced model like ChatGPT any question regarding this, it will probably produce a story on a particular topic and only when asked for. Human creativity is not stagnant because of these technologies. We are always open to make our brand new content, right? And next I want to highlight is that there is a generation-old saying, nothing is good if taken in excessive amount. If we are using all the internet all day or television all day, that will be harmful for us. That's why there has to be the check on the user of the equipment. I would like to also highlight the pandemic over here because it is a perfect example to cite over here. If there was no development of AI, COVID screening, diagnosis, and prediction wouldn't have been possible. And AI implications are traced in different fields like industries, banking, military purposes like radars and drones, and even in crime investigations. So it has a higher implication of everything. Having a narrow outlook to the greatest invention of humans, that is AI, artificial intelligence, is an about is ethics, beliefs, personal experiences, our secular ideas of what is permissible and non-permissible, and decipher the code of conduct in the society. And here, human creativity steps in. AI haven't breached the thin line of human capacity. After listening to my speech, I would like to say that most of you will be convinced to believe that technologies like ChatGPT will not hinder creativity and critical thinking. But those of you who are not convinced, that means you are not accepting what is fed to you. That means you are having a brainstorming session right now. That is the whole argument that technologies are not hindering this. Lastly, development can never be a bane to creativity because it takes birth from it. Thank you.
Thank you, Team 4. Now we have Team 5, Ms. Varshini SV speaking for the motion and Ms. Tanushri speaking against the motion.
A very pleasant good afternoon to respected judges and all the future leaders present here. This is Varshini who's going to talk for the topic, that is technologies like ChatGPT will hinder the development of creativity and critical thinking. So from the topic itself, we can prove, it's hence proved that technologies like ChatGPT will hinder the development of creativity and the critical thinking. Yes, this technology is like ChatGPT. It not only helps us to underdevelop our creativity and critical thinking, it also helps us to less train our brain. It also helps us to do a lot of malpractices in all the entrance exams. It also helps us to easily get manipulated. And it is also going to help us to pave a greater way for the unemployment in the IT sector especially. Because the IT sector, if you take a single project that involves 15 to 20 members and the entire project is being done by the single mission and still the employment becoming a big question mark. So like this, ChatGPT is going to help us in a lot of ways. I've come across a lot of researchers who have interviewed ChatGPT, and I just appreciate the ChatGPT's honesty, literally, because it says that I may not help you to the question. I may not be able to satisfy at the end of the day your complete answer, says ChatGPT. It is hence proved that the ChatGPT comes to a conclusion that it comes to the conclusion that even the ChatGPT is totally accepting as false, that at the end of the day, if you cannot get a satisfactory answer, please take the assistance of a person. I repeat, please take the assistance of a person. So it is hence proved that any artificial intelligence is not going to be replaced by the human intelligence. Thank you. Have a great day.
Hello. Technology is a revolutionary change of the future. Greetings to everybody. This is Tanushri, and I will be speaking against the motion. My opinion lies on the fact that technologies like ChatGPT will not hinder the creative thinking and the critical thinking of humans. To substantiate my claim, let's take a look at the current era. In the current era of redefining processes, there rises a need to evaluate, to explore the learning processes around us through a multidimensional lens. Now, this multidimensional lens is technology. This multidimensional lens is ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is quite an interesting phenomena. Stats show that 10 million queries per day is what it's accountable for. It's what it's worth. You see, quite phenomenal status. Now let's take a look at the versatility of it. We can do repetitive tasks. It can help us with brainstorming, kickstarting with ideas, because it facilitates with providing us with inspiration, with content, with different perspectives that aid us in creative thinking and critical analysis. Also, one important point to be noted that is the personalized recommendations depending upon the insights and the data analysis. Now moving on to a rather baffling side of the juxtapositions in relatives. AI optional, AI creative, AI creative enhanced. There's a lot of terms, a lot of jargons. These jargons, which were exclusively for the tech people, are now in the comforts of the layman's register. Why and how? This is possible because the answer lies in itself, because it facilitates and aids in creative thinking and critical analysis. If you were to consider asking a ChatGPT or any other technological assistance, people say that we're more dependent, we're more reliant on that, but that's not how it works. It just aids us. See, ChatGPT is a complementary to the creative thinking and the critical minds. It is not a substitute for the human minds. I repeat the verbatim, it's only a complementary to the creative thinking and not a substitute, because it can never replace the human capacity of critical thinking. Now let's move on to the other side. Let's consider this. If you were to ask someone, how would you like your eggs in the morning? To a human, you'd probably get a romantic answer saying, poached eggs with a kiss. But if you were to ask an AI with non-existent taste buds and no personal preference whatsoever, you'd only get the ways to prepare the eggs, or maybe the types of eggs. You see, that's the difference. That's what sets them apart. It's not hindering the creative thinking or the critical thinking in any way. It just assists, or provides us with an idea of what it kind of means. And I would like to end this on a quote that technology is what makes hypothesis a reality and what-ifs to an existence. I repeat, technology is what brings hypothesis to a reality and what-ifs to an existence. Thank you.
Thank you, Team 5. Now we have Team 6, Ms. Sahitya Balapagiri, who will be speaking for the motion, and Ms. Nagasai Dyuti, who will be speaking against the motion.
I fear the day when the technology will surpass the human creation and interaction. That is when the generation will fully have idiots. A very good afternoon to all the respected judges, audience, and my dear worthy opponent. I am Sahitya, standing here to support the motion that technologies like ChatGPT will hinder the development of creativity and critical thinking skills. As generation passed, so did the technology, right from the calculators to computers and smartphones, jump stations to Google, and now ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a prototype AI tool that helps you to plan, perceive the natural language and has gained a significant importance in a very less period of time. But as fancy as it sounds to be, it also has tremendous disadvantages which makes it inherently unreliable. Now, before getting into the main topic, I would like to give you a quote given by Dr. Abdul Kalam, that is, learning comes from creativity, creativity leads to thinking, thinking provides you knowledge, and knowledge makes you great. Nevertheless, for so many reasons, I would like to change this quote as, learning comes from Google, Google leads to Grammarly, Grammarly corrects your mistake, and your project is ready. As we can see, due to the dependency on apps like ChatGPT, we are lessening our creativity and the chances to be more authentic and creative as well as original. Well, my opponent might say ChatGPT's kinds of apps and technologies can help the ones who lack creativity, but I would let her this in her notice that creativity is something that is hidden in every person, and it is just like a muscle that needs to be worked out. When you are aspired to do something, there is nothing that is going to stop you from doing it, or no matter how much everybody pressures you, you are going to do it when you are full of your own ideas. Now, it is so fascinating how this ChatGPT is helping others to draft mails, write letters, and give responses to various types of questions. But the actual question is it really helping us to evolve intellectually or just making us go numb in our brains? Well, the answer would be latter, because receiving a ready-made answer from an AI tool is not same as acquiring knowledge from a teacher who can enable you to learn something new on your own basis. Right? Also, however, it is not new or surprising to see apps like this, evolution of apps like this, because of the rapid change in the technology and advancement in the technology. But it seems as if OpenAI, which created this wonderful app, so-called ChatGPT, put more efforts and creativity to create it and innovate it, which is in turn stopping and suppressing the creativity of others who are using it. Well, on top of that, many industries, many educational institutions in several places banned this ChatGPT because of the concerns of its usage, proper usage, and also its implications on students. Well, employees and employers say that this creativity sense gives them a nice sensation of pleasantness and something of new and different rather than boring, repetitive actions in which this AI is designed to be. Also, in my childhood, I used to copy my notes from one of my friends. And the same is happening right now. This usage of ChatGPT is nothing but just a plagiarism that we are vouching for. And so, I would also tell one of the examples and a quote given by Dr. Sous, who said that you have to be number one. If you have to be number one, you have to be the odd one. Well, that is not possible with the existence of apps like ChatGPT and AI tools. When you are full of your own ideas, you'll just love the creativity that you are creating, as I'm loving the moment right now. So, with all the perspectives above, I'm clearly stating that technologies like ChatGPT is definitely hindering the talents. Thank you.
Technologies doesn't change the world. People using technologies will always change the world. Good afternoon to the respected judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear worthy and tough opponent. I am Jyoti, standing in front of you to speak against the motion. The 21st century is totally rugged up with the era of inventions, new technological developments, and repeatedly artificial intelligence introductions. Due to this repeated artificial intelligence introductions, many of the people fell in the dilemma that are these ChatGPT or the technologies like ChatGPT are going to hinder the creativity of human beings or going to hinder the critical thinking of the human beings. See, I could say that I am as a participant standing here in front of everyone and speaking now. And I found all the content from these websites like ChatGPT, some other GPT-2, GPT-3. I collected all the information from that and I am presenting it on my own. That says that I am just using it as a catalyst. And all the chat GPT and technologies like chat GPT are used as the catalyst for the one who is really interested in enhancing their creativity and critical thinking. A survey says that 72% of the employees are really enjoying this chat GPT and the technologies like chat GPT because it helps them to complete their work in time. This also helps them to complete the work in smartest way, I could say. The smartest way in the sense they are not grabbing the whole information from that. As my opponent said, it's not just copying and pasting. Plagiarism is totally out of the content here because we just take the information to know ourselves, to know what we can develop with the information. She actually quoted that, being a writer, how could I use ChatGPT? I love using the platform ChatGPT to enhance my creativity, to enhance my skills. I'll just present my idea in that and it will show the relevant information that is required for me. And it just doesn't show the whole story I'm going to write. So here I am the one who is going to build the story there. I am the one who is going to think for the story there. ChatGPT is not helping me. The students and the teachers from many areas say that they are students are very much interested in using the technologies for their research purpose. They are very much interested in writing. They are very much interested in learning the things from these technologies and chat GPTs. So I would say that these chat GPTs or the technologies will never hinder the hinder the critical thinking, but they'll just act as a key for creativity and critical thinking. Thank you.
Thank you, Team 6. Now we have Team 7, Ms. Sri Ranjini S. Babu speaking for the motion and Mr. Vishnu Unikrishnan speaking against the motion.
Hello? Can you divide 170 by 18? Why? I can just use a calculator. Can you point Brazil on the world map? Why? I can just Google it. Do you think global warming is just a hoax? I don't know, I can chat GPT it. When was the last time you were truly happy? Alexa, when was the last time I was happy? Does that sound far-fetched? Let me tell you this, that this is what millions of years of human evolution has stooped to. On that somber note, greetings to one and all. I stand to speak for the motion, firmly holding that technologies like ChatGPT will hinder the development of critical thinking and creativity. Now, creativity and simply thinking in novel ways are facilitated when people put in time to think in new ways. But today, it's just that we don't have to. When all you need to do is just ask your venerable bot to chew and feed your essays for you, there exists no purpose for your ability to think for yourself. This over-reliance on AI will lead to the decrease in the diversity of thinking. Also, modern world organizations are more complex and time urgent. So when AI tools outperform human creativity, deadlines are met in much faster ways with less mental effort. So this means that in such a breakneck culture, creativity takes a backseat to accept spoon-fed ideas and content from AI. And our brains are built to accept what it's told, especially if what it's told confirms our biases and saves us from tedious mental work. It takes way more cognitive energy to question the information you are given than the amount of energy it takes to simply accept it as the truth. Tools like ChatGPT rely on past decisions and choices to give new suggestions. This means that we will be guided in the future by our past. So we start living in echo chambers. By relying exclusively on an AI response, we are giving up our autonomy. We start mimicking AI and we stop taxing our own brains. So the question that this era faces is that the more we rely on such AI tools, are we not allowing ourselves to be robbed of the skills that we as a human race have for so long maintained and worked hard for? To simply put it, aren't we becoming dumber? At the bottom of it all, in using such AI tools, we lose the journey of learning and creating. We've always said that the process is the best part. So when an image generator like DALL-E 2 produces or turns up art in a matter of minutes, it takes away the process and the tremendous human effort that goes into it. Sure, AI has promised the world so much, but aren't we supposed to realize that we humans are what created it? And so, in closing, I'd like to say that this real intelligence of ours will trump any virtual or artificial intelligence that is to come on any given day. Thank you.
Hello, hello. It was the father of philosophy, the Socrates himself, who once believed that the ultimate corrupting invention would be the written word. He believed that once humans begin to write, they would cease to speak. But here we are, speaking. And if the father of philosophy can be proven wrong, then so can you be, side proposition. A very warm greetings to everyone. Today, I stand by the opposition of the motion, vehemently believing that the very notion established by the proposition that technologies like ChatGPT will hinder the development of critical thinking and creativity is absolutely baseless. I think our creativity and critical thinking skills can be significantly enhanced if we are freed from boring, repetitive tasks. These tasks not only consume our time and energy, but also thank you.
Thank you, Team 7. We now have our final team for the day, Team 8, Mr. Jayant Himachala speaking for the motion and Ms. Gargi Srivastava speaking against the motion.
A bit closer. Yeah, works. Thank you. Greetings, jury members and the audience. My name is Jayant Himachala and I'll be speaking for the motion. So I'll be presenting my arguments, but this will be a more philosophical argument because philosophy is the underlying principle for all technologies out there. Anything you take, medicine, technology, philosophy is the underlying thing. So when we talk about ChatGPT, any AI, any computer program out there, well, all this is merely a tool to facilitate the human process of thinking or to ease us. That's all. You shouldn't see it as a substitution to the human mind itself. So AI doesn't have the ability to think for itself individually like humans do. Take Plato's allegory, for example. All that Plato said was, here people are stuck in a cave and whatever the shadows that are falling on the cave walls from outside, that becomes reality for them. That might be an illusion. This very principle has helped many principles ranging from mathematics to legislations. Are you seeing the difference? How is this possible? Because Plato thought on his feet. He came up, critical thinking, creativity, he came up with this. And once he did that, this principle was applied to various other fields because these people in those very disciplines started thinking for themselves. Well, AI doesn't possess the ability to think for itself, to think on its feet actually, to think fast. AI merely consolidates information that already exists somewhere else and it presents it to you, paraphrases it, that's all. So already existing information does not count as creativity, does not count as critical thinking. So take a doctor, for example. Although you expect a doctor to know everything and to treat you in the right way, and doctors also use AI nowadays to treat. But the actual quality of a doctor that you would appreciate is the ability to think on his feet. Something goes wrong in surgery, he has to think on his feet. So I'd actually urge you guys to watch this one show called Surgeon's Cut on Netflix. There's this one doctor called Kypros Nicolaides. He came up with this one solution for this one disorder called twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, where one baby is dead, one twin is dead, and the blood is getting transfused to the other healthy baby. So he took a wild guess. He took a risk. He jumped and then he inserted a laser wand into the womb and he cut off the blood supply of the dead baby. How was he able to do this? This is such an experimental technique. He did this because he was able to think on his feet. He took a risk. That quality AI does not possess. Next, when we come to the field of IPR, intellectual property rights. Intellectual property rights, everyone in technology must be aware of this. It is wholly based on one concept and one concept itself, human creativity. That creativity of humans is what is appreciated. Well, in a capitalistic society, you need creativity to keep evolving over time. You need individual thinkers. You do not need sheep. So once you, in IP laws, you have this one theory called a personality theory, where the object is an extension of the human mind. The object is a manifestation of the human mind, that individual's mind. So when this is the theory behind it, if everyone starts using technologies like ChatGPT, which already exists, AIs, where is that theory existing? The whole IP industry will collapse. And when we talk, let's come away from this. Let's go to Max Weber's theory of authority. Max Weber, a sociologist, spoke about something called authority, where he said a charismatic authority can influence people. So people like Modi or Nelson Mandela, these people influence and they start becoming impressionable. We do not need impressionable people. So as a kid, you would run to your mother if you had a problem, right? I am not able to solve this. Now you would run to ChatGPT because it has all the answers. We do not need impressionable people. Finally, there was one survey actually that was conducted in Stanford University, where most of the students who used ChatGPT got their assessments graded max to max a C- or a B+. And in the end, I'd like to leave you all on a lighter note. So my friend, he was dating this girl and he wrote a poem for her. And one thing if I know about him, he cannot write and he cannot express his emotions. But, with her, he actually I asked him, how did you use this? And he said, I used ChatGPT. Well, is ChatGPT dating your girlfriend or are you? Well, this creativity is what we need. Thank you.
Technology in itself is nothing. What is important is that you have faith in people, that they are intrinsically smart, intelligent, and know how to get the job done. Your mere purpose is to provide them with tools, quoted by Steve Jobs. A warm good evening to everyone present here. Today I, Gargi Srivastav, stand before you all to present my case against the motion that ChatGPT and technologies alike are hindering the development of critical thinking and creativity. At the outset, I would like to remind you all that we are a country of 140 crore brains, a country that has produced creators and a country that has produced surreal amount of entrepreneurs. Well, we have been doing it before the advent of artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, which solidifies my claim that human intellect cannot exist in isolation with creativity. Let me take a very good example right now. Today, I'm standing center stage at XIME, speaking on an event that is coordinated by one of the best, by probably the best future managers the country will ever see. Well, what then? Can this kind of an event be pulled out by ChatGPT?
I, for one, can tell you the answer is a resounding no. Because, ladies and gentlemen, my ability to analyze and critically think can only be taken away if someone else critically thinks and analyzes for me. ChatGPT cannot think. What it is going to do is help us escape our professors and the whole plagiarism test by paraphrasing. That's it. It is feeding off the information that has already been said by humans of conscious brain, and then it is producing it in form of a write-up. Nothing more, nothing less. That in itself is not creativity, neither is it intelligence. It's a mere tool of help. Now, furthering on, I was born and brought up in paramilitary cantonments, and I saw the steel of the nation being forged through fire. It cannot produce brave hearts. It cannot produce warriors. It cannot produce complex war strategies. AI is essentially doing what we all already do in our leisure time. It is reading through 140 million pages on Google and creating a summary that you can go through and easily get your job done. Now, another example that I would like to cite here is that of calculator. So when calculator came into being, and technologies alike, like let us take for example computer and Internet of Things and everything else, it was treated with mistrust and trepidation. It was considered that these technologies will take over human intelligence. But then what happened? Boom. An entire new science, a revolution. We are living in a fairy tale, ladies and gentlemen, and that fairy tale is backed by science. This is precisely how AI is supposed to be looked at. Now, some of my opponents may say, but Gargi, ChatGPT already cracked Wharton's MBA exam. It didn't crack CAT and MAT. That is what you guys cracked. Obviously, we can claim our managers are smarter than that of USA's. It cracked USA's bar exam, but it did not crack India's bar exam. It did not even reach the cutoff percentage of UPSC prelims. What it is doing is it is analyzing trend, repetitive questions, and creating a series of answers which will let it pass. So essentially, it is already reading the data that has been provided by people who have cracked those exams and then producing it. Now, my answer here, ladies and gentlemen, is simple. ChatGPT is not a tool of destruction. It is a source of aid. It's an ally. If somebody can summarize the problem for me, it will save that time for me to actually go ahead and focus on the solution, to come up with merits, to come up with how I can be more meticulous in my planning. ChatGPT can do one thing for sure though. It can predict crisis. Let us put ChatGPT to good use so that we can predict the rainfall pattern and none of our actual farmers are dying, and we can use crisis. We can use it for crisis management. At the end, I would just like to end by saying what almost every scripture has taught me. The creation can never destroy the creator. Thank you.
Thank you, all the teams. Can we have a big round of applause for all our lovely debaters? Thank you, participants, for such compelling arguments, and I'm sure it's going to be a very tough decision for our judges. I would now like to request the judges to be escorted to the VIP guest room for deliberation, and I request the participants and the audience to please remain seated in the auditorium.
Show coming up for you. Audience? Audience, please.
Check.
Audience, please remain seated. We have a cultural show coming up for you. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
All of you on that and wish you all the best for the upcoming results. With that, I hand it over to the Cultural Club of XIME Bangalore. Sit back and enjoy.
Hello, hello.
Good afternoon, guys. Wait. It's not coming. It's not coming. Hello.
लुक्का छुपी बहुत हुई, सामने आ जाना। कहाँ कहाँ ढूंढा तुझे, थक गई है अब तेरी माँ। आजा सांझ हुई, मुझे तेरी फिक्र धुंधला गई। देख तेरी नजर आ जाना। आजा सांझ हुई, मुझे तेरी फिक्र धुंधला गई। देख तेरी नजर आ जाना।
क्या बताऊं माँ, कहाँ हूँ मैं? यहाँ उड़ने का मेरे खुला जैसा कोई लुटे नहीं, बीच से काटे ना।
आजा सांझ हुई, मुझे तेरी फिक्र धुंधला गई। देख तेरी नजर आ जाना।
आजा सांझ हुई, मुझे तेरी फिक्र धुंधला गई। देख मेरी नजर आ जाना। तेरी राह तके अखियां, जाने कैसा कैसा होए जिया। तेरी राह तके अखियां, जाने कैसा कैसा होए जिया। धीरे धीरे आंगन उतरे अंधेरा, मेरा दीप कहाँ? ढल के सूरज करे इशारा, चंदा तू है कहाँ? मेरे चंदा तू है कहाँ?
छुपी बहुत हुई, सामने आ जाना।
कहाँ कहाँ ढूंढा तुझे, थक गई है अब तेरी माँ। आजा सांझ हुई, मुझे तेरी फिक्र धुंधला गई। देख मेरी नजर आ जाना।
आजा सांझ हुई, मुझे तेरी फिक्र धुंधला गई। देख मेरी नजर आ जाना।
Thank you guys, thank you. check.
land where the sky meets the sea. It calls me, and no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know. If I go, there's just no telling how far I'll go. Everybody on this island seems so happy on this island. Everything is by design. See, they're blinding, but no one knows how deep it goes. And it seems like it's calling out to me, so come find me. Once beyond that line, feel like cross that line. It calls me, no one knows how far I'll go. Tomorrow comes, I'll be on my own, feeling frightened of the things that I don't know. When tomorrow comes, tomorrow comes. And though the road is long, I look up to the sky, and in the dark I found lost hope that I won't fly. And I sing along, I sing along, I sing along. I got all I need when I got you and I look around me and see a sweet light. I'm stuck in the dark, but you're my flashlight. Getting me, getting me, getting me through the night. Kickstart my heart when you shine in my eyes. Can't lie, it's a sweet light. I'm stuck in the dark, but you're my flashlight. You're getting me through the night. 'Cause you're my flashlight. You're my flashlight. You're my flashlight. I can see. Afraid no one's I got all I need when I got you and I look around me and see a sweet light. I'm stuck in the dark, but you're my flashlight. You're getting me through the night. I kickstart my heart when you shine in my eyes. Can't lie, it's a sweet light. I'm stuck in the dark, but you're my flashlight. You're getting me through the night. 'Cause you're my flashlight.
Check, check. Hey, hey, hey. Your lipstick stain on the front glove of my left side brain. I knew I wouldn't forget you, and so I went and let you blow my mind. Your sweet moonbeam, the smell of you in every single dream I dream. I knew when we collided, you're the one I have decided was one of my kind. Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on the radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight. Hey, hey, hey. Just in time. I'm so glad you had that one track mind like me. Gave my life direction, a game show love connection we can't deny. I'm so upset. My heart is bound to be right out in my untrimmed chest. I believe in you like a virgin, you're Madonna, and I'm always gonna wanna blow your mind. Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on the radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do. Where you can cut a rug, watching news, the only drug I need. So gangster, I'm so thug, you're my only one I'm dreaming of. You see, I can be myself, my finally. In fact, there's nothing I can be. I want the world to see you be with me. Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on the radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, as we sit in this auditorium, we must remember a dream of a young girl. A girl who aspired to create an egalitarian society and build a model management school for India's youth. We are here because of a promise one made between Maria and her loving father,
Professor J. Philip. He honored his commitment to his daughter. Even though she never lived to see her goals realized, her desire was accomplished in May 1991. Maria was born in Kerala on 9th April 1964. For her early education, she attended Sacred Hearts Convent School in Jamshedpur and subsequently completed her ICSE from Loreto Convent, Ranchi in 1982. She received a BA Honours from Delhi's Jesus and Mary College and pursued her master's degree at the Madras School of Social Work, where she was also the part of Human Resources Department. Known as a popular student, she excelled in both academics and extracurricular activities, along with being a fantastic communicator, organizer, and leader. As a testament to these very skills, she was elected the head girl at Loreto Convent, Ranchi. Unsurprisingly, she was also the secretary of the Debating Society at Jesus and Mary College in Delhi, as well as the games captain at Jesus and Mary School. In 1984, she was voted the most popular girl at her college's All India Cultural Festival, Muntaj. Maria was always intrigued by social issues and the advancement of society. She was in the final year of her master's degree program when, on 30th September 1986, on what seemed to be just another day, she was on her way back from a day's fieldwork when she lost her life in an unfortunate accident. Maria was only 22 and a half years old, putting her in the same age bracket as many of us in this room. Maria, you will live forever, is what her friends embodied when they donned a black band with a picture on their chest at her funeral. The Maria Philip Educational Trust was established to keep her legacy alive and to give light to her interest in societal development. On December 11, 1986, the trust was registered in Bangalore. Today's debate, the Maria Philip Future Leaders Debate Competition, was conceived and conceptualized to commemorate Maria in a pledge to keep her alive in our memories. This institute is a testament to her aspiration to inspire scores of students and future leaders. We carry it within us as we conduct today's debate competition. Despite Professor J. Philip being the name behind XIME, it is Maria who remains the inspiration behind this institution, a place we affectionately like to call our home.
Every year, we celebrate the legacy of an unforgettable visionary, a hope and a name we will forever look up to, Maria Philipp. I would now like to request all the dignitaries and judges to please proceed to the dais and take their places. I would now like to request the founder of XIME and the chairman of XIME Bangalore, Professor J. Philipp, to address this august gathering.
First of all, thank you, students, for putting up that beautiful memoriam. Very lovely to us. I don't know who has done it. It's so beautiful. I went back the older days when she was with us. That reminded me of what we took almost a year to invent the epitaph on her tomb in Keelpok, Chennai. That's where she's buried. We wrote there, it took some time, we did some search, and ultimately came up with these 4 lines. We said, life is not measured by the years that you live. Life is not measured by the years that you live, but the deeds that you did and the joy that you gave. The deeds that you did and the joy that you gave. We live in the joy. To the speakers, fantastic performance. Some of my faculty colleagues came and asked me, you have seen this for years. We started this in 87, the very next year of her death. It was at Assumption College, Changanasheri, Kerala. At that time, it was only meant for women's colleges and only women. So the first few years, it was only women's colleges and women. Then we opened that up, as I said, 87 it was. Opened that up to boys too. But today when I look back and today what happened, full circle of the 16 participants, there were only 3 boys. 16 participants, there were only 3 boys. Can you believe it? And I must very specially mention about Vishnu. Vishnu Unnikrishna, are you anywhere here? Vishnu, please don't take it to heart. This happens to any good speaker. at one time or the other. So please don't carry it. The only mistake, that's your instructor's mistake. They don't tell you that you can carry notes like this. Keep this with you. And if you miss, just look back. There you are. That I think I see in this happening with almost all the speakers. No, this is not a sin. In fact, it is expected that you should have notes with you, so that you don't have to memorize every line and every clause. Right? So Vishnu, do that hereafter. And you are a good speaker. Congratulations. And I go back to Gargi. Gargi, I hope you are somewhere here. Gargi, thank you for giving the compliments, such beautiful compliments to our students. They said, this chat GPT can never organize a function like this, but she salamed you, our students, for organizing such a beautiful one. Thank you, Gargi, and to the organizers, my congratulations. Many people ask me, why is it that you do this every year religiously? And I said, one of course is Maria, and we thought this is the best way to remember her, because she really was a passionate speaker. I myself attended many of her performances, and she will also come and sit when I speak outside. And she also had a habit of, if it is not going too well, she will show me like this from a distance and say, not going too well. She was a very passionate speaker, and this is the way we thought we could remember her. There is another thing which is, we see it as a CSR on our part. What is written here? Great communication is the key to leadership. Great communication is the key to leadership. And we believe in that. And this is, in a way, a belief of most of the Excel, Xavier business schools. So I carried this from XLRI. Leadership and the ability to communicate go together. Now, since we are in the business of leadership, we thought this is important. And then we thought we'll take this outside as part of our CSR and see if we could spread this message out and even contribute and honor the best minds, the best brains, the best tongues of South India. We are happy we are organizing this, and thank you, contestants, for coming and joining in this function. You made it rich. Thank you very much. I should not forget the judges who had a hell of a time. I walked in there and I could see what a vigorous debate that was going on among them. And they will come up and tell you. But thank you very much for joining us. We greatly value your presence. Thank you, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful address. We are truly blessed to be under your guidance. Now, before we move on to the much-awaited declaration of results, I'd like to invite the jury chairperson for today, Mr. Amit Nehra, to share his remarks and feedback on the competition. Sir, please.
Right. Sorry, good afternoon. I'll start again. Firstly, I think I'd like to thank Professor Philip, Professor, I think, Ravindranathan, if I've got it right, yes, and Father Roy, right? And of course, Amod, for the opportunity to come here today. It's always great to be amongst young minds, right? Because as you get older, I think the only thing that keeps us going is to keep the mind young. And I think that's a lot of the learning that I've taken away from today's session. So 16 speakers, fantastic effort. Vishnu, I think, has been called out by Professor Philip as well, but it's a teaching or a learning moment, right? I failed on stage, so Vishnu, all the best to you for the future. I think in terms of the content and the debate, there were some fantastic for and against discussions, certain articulation of thoughts, the fact that there was more content in terms of more ideas that came through from certain participants and some was repetitive. Those are takeaway points for all of us. And in a debate, I think the most important point is it's not about you wanting your viewpoints to be accepted. It's about presenting your viewpoints so that it is accepted. And I think that is something which you should take away in it. And some of the arguments in there clearly brought that out. And some of them kind of said, you know what, if I don't win this, I've lost the debate. And I think that's something you should always be thinking through. It's not so much so about the winning, it's so much so as the journey that you're taking in there. And I think there will always be winners, and there will always be people who are not going to come through as, but that doesn't mean that the people who participated are losers in any way. It's just that there was something different in the others that made them stand out, right? I think that said, a lot of debate. They've come through with the winners and the best speaker. I'm not sure, we'll probably shortly announce that. But I just want to leave you with one thought. It was a moment of truth for the 16 speakers out there. A moment of truth is something which you will never forget. You will only learn from it. And always learn from it. Don't look back and say, shit, why didn't I do this? And I'm sorry for using terminology which is not meant to be done in college. But in real life, the lessons is you will fail. But how do you stand up and then not repeat that mistake and then probably do better the next time? So I think thank you for a great, actually pretty interesting thoughts and concepts by the 16 participants. So thank you once again to all of them. Don't feel disappointed. There's always a winner and there's a runner-up. But all of you guys are winners today in the eyes of the 3 jury members. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. The moment you have all been waiting for has finally arrived. We will now begin the prize distribution ceremony. We will start by declaring the prizes of the categories that were conducted in the previous rounds. I request Ms. Shobha Saji to hand over the prize to the winners and the runners-up of the Karnataka state level round. The runners-up of the Karnataka state level round are Ms. Gargi Srivastava and Mr. Jayant Himachala. The winners of the Karnataka state level round are Anisha Lohia and Sakshi Biradar. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Ms. Harishri Babuji to hand over the prize to the winners and the runners-up of the Telangana and Andhra Pradesh joint state level round. The runners-up are Sahitya B. and Naga Saiduti B. Audience, please give them a round of applause. And the winners are Rishita Naidu B and K. Didipya. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Ambassador C.P. Ravindranathan, sir, to hand over the prizes to the Kerala state level winners and runners-up. And the runners-up are Fasya Ansari and Parvati Bobby. I request C.P. Ravindranathan, sir, to hand over the prizes. And the winners are Sriranjani S. Babu and Vishnu Unni Krishnan. Thank you, sir. I now request Reverend Father Dr. Roy Abraham to give away the prizes to the winners and runners-up of the Tamil Nadu state level. And the runners-up are Varshini SV and Tanushri. Audience, please cheer the winners. And the winners are Prajani and Jensen. Thank you, sir. Congratulations, winners. And now, the time to declare the results for today has come. I request the jury chairperson, Mr. Amit Nehra, to declare the best speaker, runners-up, and the winners of the Maria Philip Future Leaders Debate Competition. I request all the participants to be seated, and we will invite you to the dais after the announcements are over. Sir, please.
See, all of us need a learning moment, right? I need to figure out how to announce this. Okay, so culmination. We're going to talk about the best speaker, South India level, at this function, and we've got Shri Ranjani S. Babu, who spoke, who's come through. Yeah. I think the next category is the runner-up in this, and we've got a team which is Sakshi Biradar and Anisha Lohia. I think they're from Bangalore. Tough competition, I must admit, between 1 and 2, okay? And finally, when you have the winner category, we've got Fazia Ansari and Parvati Bobby. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, sir. I call upon our director, Reverend Father Dr. Roy Abraham, to hand over the prize to the best speaker of the South India level of the Maria Philip Future Leaders Debate Competition, Shri Ranjani S. Babu. Thank you, sir. I request the jury chairperson, Mr. Amit Nehra, to hand over the prize to the runners-up of the South India level final of the Maria Philip Future Leaders Debate Competition, Sakshi Biradar and Anisha Lohia. Give them a round of applause. Thank you, sir. I now call upon Professor J. Philip to hand over the rolling trophy to the winners of the South India level of the Maria Philip Future Leaders Debate Competition, Fazia Ansari and Parvati Bobby. Give them a round of applause. Thank you, sir. Congratulations to all the winners. I now request all the participants to come up to the stage for a photo. I request the audience to remain seated, and I request the participants to come up to the stage for a photo. I also request Dean Academics Madhukumar sir, Roshni ma'am, and Amod sir to come up on the stage for a photo. I request all the audience to be seated. The program is not over yet. Kindly remain seated, the program is not over yet. Next, I call upon all the Maria Philip Future Leaders Debate volunteers and the Exploration members to come up to the stage for a photo. Audience, the program is not over yet. I request you to be seated. Thank you. I now request Reverend Father Dr. Roy Abraham, Director, XIME Bangalore, to present a memento to our judge, Ms. Harishri Babuji. Thank you, sir. I now call upon Ambassador C.P. Ravindranathan, Chairman, XIME Kochi, to give a memento to our judge, Ms. Shobha Saji. Thank you, sir. I now request our chairman to give a moment per chairperson, Mr. Amit Nehra. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Ms. Amrita Tripathi to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Kesia. Education is a privilege for many of us in this country, and being able to study at a prestigious college like XIME is something that only a handful of us can dream of. Today, while I'm standing on this stage, there's only one name that I can think of, Maria Philip. It is because of Maria's faith in the future of this nation, in you and me, that this institution exists. And for that, I, on behalf of all the students of XIME, is extremely grateful for. Her dream, amalgamated with an enduring promise of her father, Professor J. Philip, laid the foundation of this prestigious institute, and for that, sir, we'll always be indebted to you. It is because of you and your dedication that we have got this platform to unleash our innate talent. It is because of the Honorable Professor J. Philip, founder of XIME and chairman of XIME Bangalore, that we stand here awakened and inspired to dream bigger. Thank you, sir. We thank Ambassador C.P. Ravindranathan, Chairman XIME Kochi, for always being a pillar of strength and always reminding us that how important it is to lead a conscious, sensible, and a cognizant life. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Anil J. Philip, President of XIME Society, who has always taught us to look at life in a new light, no matter how many obstacles we face. We're also grateful to have amongst us a dedicated educator, Reverend Father Dr. Roy Abraham, Director, XIME Bangalore. Sir, you've always given us the encouragement to experiment, to fail, and to rise from that failure with much more courage. So thank you for bringing out the best in us. It is a matter of great pride that we have had the opportunity to be under the guidance of the very inquisitive Professor Madhu Kumar, Dean Academics, XIME Bangalore. So thank you for always being very supportive and proactive. It is our greatest pleasure to have hosted the jury chairperson and judges for today's competition. Your presence and your contribution have been of great value to us. We'd also like to thank the faculty coordinator of exhibition, Professor Amod Vijay Vargya. So your energy and the way you are always very excited and enthusiastic about everything in life is what encourages us. Your energy acts as a fuel for us to keep going and explore new horizons in life. So thank you so much. We also show appreciation to the participants for their active involvement and creative ideas on the topic. And also thank you, the parents, for your esteemed presence today. We profoundly thank the technical support team led by Lakshman sir for giving continuous assistance till the very end, and the cultural club for keeping us entertained with their lively performances. Last but not the least, the backbone of today's event, Team Exhibition, its members and the volunteers from all sections and batches. I'd like to thank Rag for managing the overall event, and the rest of the team, including the comms team, the design team, and the technical team, for putting their heart and soul into this event. And of course, how can I forget all our volunteers who have been working relentlessly since day one from the past 6 months. Thank you. Thank you for your consistency, energy, and enthusiasm that has helped us make this event happen. Can we have a big round of applause for all these people? Thank you to all the students and our audience for your active participation, and we hope that you enjoyed the program. And with this, we close the Maria Philip Future Leaders Debate Competition 2022. Thank you and see you next year. I request the judges to be escorted to the VIP guest house for the high tea. The participants are also requested to be escorted to the guest house.